Play a very difficult and disappointing Saturday for the Wolverines in East Lansing as Michigan State defeats the Wolverines of Michigan 17-7 in their annual battle, and a very disappointing day, I know, for you, Coach Mueller.
Well, there's no question about that, Jim. We didn't play, obviously, the kind of game that any of us felt that we would play. I have to give them credit. I thought they did a good job, but we got to look at ourselves and what we have to do and make plays when we have the opportunity to do it.
And going into a Michigan State game, I think that you expect a little better offensive performance from a team, I think, that offensively has not struggled as much as it did against Michigan State. Right.
I think we have to be much better. And again, I think it goes a little bit back, Jim. Number of things really offensively today are you look at an offensive line, I don't think it played as well as it should have. I don't think our backs ran as well as they should have. And we didn't catch the ball and throw the ball like we're capable of doing. And all of those things combined shows you, obviously, a poor offensive performance.
A poor offensive performance on the road at Michigan State spelled disaster for the Wolverines as Michigan State comes up with a victory. Don't go away. We'll be back, and we'll take a look at how it happened when Michigan Replay continues.
But the key to the game, I think, was for them that they got to a fast start and got to a slow start.
Very disappointed Shante Peoples in the locker room at Michigan State after the loss to Michigan State. And Mo, the big thing was, and I think you understood this, opening the game against Michigan State on the road, you had to get on them early and take that crowd out of the game, and that didn't happen.
Right, I think that's true, Jim. They take their opening drive down, but that happened. They did that against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame came back well. We didn't convert the third down offensively and defensively. Here they come out and they hit a little pass over the middle and had a lot of success with that. Great example of not keeping the ball contained and a guy breaking tackles.
And it was the short pass, the dink pass. Here's a 3rd and 5. Go to the flat to the fullback.
Right, they had a lot of those. 18 passes they completed, and I think 13 of them to their backs and their tight end. So, and here we missed a tackle right in the hole where we could have come up with a big loss, really, for them. And it turns out to be a big gain. Then Abrams takes it over in short yardage there. We got a little high, and I don't think we tackled him right in the hole very well. But sometimes these things are to be expected. What really hurt is we come right back here. We mishandle a kickoff. Then we take it up their sideline, and we fumble the ball right there, giving them the ball. Fortunately, our defense does come in and does a good job as far as holding them right there, but then Stojanovic kicked the big field goal for them.
Big field goal indeed, 47 yards into a real stiff breeze, and he drilled this into the wind. That gives them a 10-0 game, and right from that point on, with the crowd in the game, you know you got an uphill battle.
Right, and you know, we haven't had the ball yet, and they're up 10-0. And that makes a lot of difference, Jim.
Early in the game, you got some running game going, which they stopped later, but you couldn't sustain a drive. Bad things happen.
Right. Every time we got something going here, we get sacked. We're just going to try a pass on short yardage, 2nd and 1, but we do come back and get out of this, and by Collins going over the middle, or excuse me, scrambling up the middle, rather, and picking up a 1st down.
That's a big scramble by Todd Collins, not normally known as a runner out of that pocket, but he did a good job picking it up. But again, you can't convert. 3rd and 9 here.
Right, we're in good shape to score here or get a field goal. Then we get the big sack, and then we attempt a field goal, and then we miss it. We're a little short on this one.
And this was with the wind, and at that point you're looking to make it 10-3. It's short, so it stays 10-0. And you move along to the 2nd quarter, and really things don't get any better.
No, we needed something, some scoring there to give us a little confidence. They hit Mel Coleman over the middle. He only caught 1 pass for the day, but that's about the only time they went to him. We knew he was a good receiver, and he squeezed one in on us.
And here's a running back getting outside the defense, something that you don't like to see happen.
Right, and obviously it leads to bad things, and they pick up about 17 yards. Then they come and fake off tackle, which that play we had worked a lot on, Jim, and our concentration was very, very poor there because that play should have been stopped.
Should have been stopped, but it wasn't. You come back and start to move the ball just before the close of the half. Here's a pass into Walter Smith. You stall, and then late in the half, you get what I would like to say, a bad call. I don't want it to sound like sour grapes, but this 4th and 9 play looked like it was a completion.
Right, I think it was. I was standing on the sideline and felt that. Then Walter Smith catches the ball here and drags his body inside You can see he's in bounds there, and then he slides out of bounds, and for some reason they rule it an incomplete pass. And those things, you know, they can go by in some games when you win, but when it's tight like that, you need every good play that you can get.
Not to say that that call is going to make a difference in the game, but it's going to make a difference in the close of the second half. Momentum-wise, you might be able to make something happen. But still, you knew you had troubles at that point, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, there's no question about that, Jim, and particularly up front. I don't know, as some guys had toughness and other guys didn't. And when you go there to play in that football game, you got to stand up, and you got to stand up at your position, and I think we failed in some respects, and we just got to be a tougher football team.
Get tougher. That's the story of the Michigan Wolverines. Don't go away. We'll be back. Take a look at the second half of that Michigan State-Michigan game. The half against Michigan State. Opening up the second half, Mo, you get the football. You got to turn things around. You got to regain momentum, and it doesn't happen. And that had to really put you into kind of a bind situation.
Yes. The thing you need here, Jim, is you need some kind of score to give yourself a little bit of confidence, or you need your defense to come out and really dominate. And we didn't do what we had to do until we come up with a big block punt.
Right, the special teams gave you the opportunity, and this was after a change of possession. And the special teams, Feldman Melville gets the block. Now this gives you the ball in good field position, and now you look confident. I thought momentum at this point had turned, had you?
Well, we had a chance here, yes, Jim. I felt like we got the good field position there. Then we hit Wheatley on a pass, and then we Collins goes back to throw again here. But we just lacked something, and you got to get your running game going, and that's disappointing that we couldn't run the ball better, and that was true the whole day.
Then you come up with a big play for your only score of the day, and you go deep to Derek Alexander.
Right. Derek made a fine catch there. I thought later we about hit another long one and had an opportunity to, and Todd threw the ball right there on the money.
The disappointing thing maybe to you is that after you score on their possession, Michigan State comes right back against your defense. And I think you really needed to stop to kind of keep momentum in your favor.
Right. Here again, the clock's getting away from you. You're not getting the ball offensively. Again, they convert on a third down play in which they dump the ball off, and those things keep gnawing at you. One thing our defense did do, they rose to the occasion here. They got them stopped, and then they come up and miss a field goal.
So that keeps the score at 17-7. Fourth quarter, 3rd and 2. You get a great play from Nina Thagakon. You stop them, force them to kick, and have real good field position. This is where I thought you had a chance to get back in it, and it starts but then stops again.
Right. We come here and we hit Alexander on a big one. We hit him back-to-back here for big gains, and we went to Derek a lot in this game, and he was hanging on the ball better than anyone else.
And you go back down over the middle. Now you're inside their 30-yard line, and there's still time for you to get some things done. A couple of penalties, you're back at 2nd and 30.
Right. Those things don't help either. And that happened to us a couple times with the sack and the penalties and the negative yardage type plays really hurt.
Here's the 4th and 3 play. You try to get the ball into Amani Toomer, and it doesn't work. And Michigan comes up short 17-7 against the Spartans. And, you know, Gary, it's a very disappointing situation for you as we look at the Norwegian Cruise Line play of the week. And it is the only touchdown to pass to Derek Alexander.
Right, there's a good throw there, as we indicated before, and he makes an excellent catch, and Todd threaded the needle. But we needed more of those. We had opportunities on a lot shorter passes to make catches, which we failed to do.
When you look back at this game against Michigan State, you got to be terribly disappointed, but more than anything, disappointed that each week team's supposed to get better. It seems like in one area of the game it's getting better, and then another area of the game Michigan seems to be taking a step backwards.
Right. I don't know if we got any better in this game in any respects, and I don't know. Maybe we have a problem, and we think Michigan is just supposed to win. Michigan doesn't just win. Michigan has to earn their victories. We can't rest on anything that's happened in the past. We got to get an attitude. And I said toughness before, Jim, and toughness is strictly mental. It's a mental thing.
You're talking then about a mental adjustment as opposed to an X's and O's adjustment to get this team back to where you think they should be?
Right, and I think when you're mentally tough, you're in control of yourself where you perfect your technique. It isn't always hitting somebody or knocking someone down, but you mentally concentrate to do your technique properly, and we haven't been good in that area. We were at times, and in past games we were a lot better off. but I don't know if we're all looking for something or what. But the idea is to do what you're supposed to do and do it well.
And that means there's going to be a lot of work done on that aspect of Michigan football in the coming weeks, because it doesn't get any easier for the Wolverines. Penn State's next, but we'll talk about them later on in the program. In the meantime, you stay with us, because coming up, we're going to take a look at the guy that searches out how to find the...
Really offensively today, you look at an offensive line, I don't think it played as well as it should have. I don't think our backs ran as well as they should have, and we didn't catch the ball and throw the ball like we're capable of doing. And all of those things combined showed play, obviously, the kind of game that any of us felt that we would play. I have to give them credit. I thought they did a good job, but we got to look at ourselves and what we have to do and make plays when we have the opportunity to do it.
And going into a Michigan State game, I think that you expect a little better offensive performance from a team, I think, that offensively has not struggled as much as it did against Michigan State.
Right. I think we have to be much better. And again, I think it goes a little bit back, Jim, number of things.
Play a very difficult and disappointing Saturday for the Wolverines in East Lansing, as Michigan State defeats the Wolverines of Michigan 17-7 in their annual battle, and a very disappointing day, I know, for you, Coach Moeller.
Well, there's no question about that, Jim. We did obviously a poor offensive performance.
A poor offensive performance on the road at Michigan State spelled disaster for the Wolverines as Michigan State comes up with a victory. Don't go away. We'll be back, and we'll take a look at how it happened when Michigan Replay continues.